Hey, it's Ela, and I am going to show you how to trace an image onto your watercolor paper using carbon paper or transfer paper. The brand I'm going to use today, I'm going to be trying it for the first time. It's Jack Richeson, Richeson, and it's a 12 sheets for 24 by 24 pieces, and I cut it down to the size that I needed. I'm going for 9 by 12. I'm actually going to use a smooth paper. This is Arch's hot press, so this is smoother than your typical cold press, which is I usually prefer. But there's a fair amount of detail, and I want to be able to capture all those tiny little bits. So, you know, this is what I'm going to do. It's asking a lot to try and fit so much with a traced image, but it'll be okay. So basically the deal is, you can see there's a pale side and a dark side of your carbon or transfer paper. So I am putting the dark side down. That's the side that's going to transfer on to the paper that I'm going to paint on later. And then I just sandwich this on top like that. And I'm actually making a slightly smaller image than the size of the paper. That's okay. I'll figure out how I want to deal with it later. And this is the important thing. I want to tape it down. And it's nice to catch both layers. There's just a little bit that's caught on there. I could have even gone a little bit lower, but if I want to flip this up and see what I've done, I can do that. Every once in a while I'm going to flip it up and look. Seems like that's staying pretty well, so that's the important thing. So I can flip back and forth as I wish. So this is really very easy, and I'm probably not going to trace the whole thing. I'll just start with the biggest shapes first and show you what I'm doing. So I want a fairly sharp pencil, and I'm just going to trace. I'm going to start with the biggest shapes. I'm going to do this tree right here. And these lines may not be erasable later. I'm gonna have to be cool with living with whatever these lines are that I've made. I can always try and see if is it possible to trace. I'm gonna have to do some guesswork in here. I can't necessarily see what all these branches are doing. There's still lots of room for interpretation as I'm working on this. This is not, it's not a photograph, you know, it's me choosing to interpret this photo however it's going to go. Let's see, maybe I'll just do this one tree here and I'll finish it on my own. But I have to keep track of what I've done, what I haven't done yet. And like I said, I can flip the whole thing up from time to time. I might accidentally or on purpose go over the same area twice. That's fine. Oftentimes when I paint over areas, even though I'm working with a transparent medium, I find that I can sort of ignore any lines that I don't like, and it doesn't look too bad usually. I find that beginners get really nervous about making mistakes, and there's a certain amount of bravado that's like, nope, I've decided it's not a problem. If I've decided it's not a problem, and if I can make the picture look good, then it isn't an issue anymore. Right here I see it looks like there's a broken branch. I don't like that part. I'm just going to pretend it's not broken. I might extend that branch up if I want to. I have an artistic license, and so do you. So that's most of the branches right there on that tree. Let's see what happens when I peel all this up. Looking good. You see it's kind of awkward how this stops. I mean, I can extend that forward a little bit. If I wanted to, I could keep drawing this branch with pencil and make it do all sorts of interesting things if I want to. But that's basically it in a nutshell. It's just, you're just literally drawing on the image, and it transfers that image onto your paper. And I would discourage you from flipping back and forth too often, because there's always a chance that things might land just slightly differently. I mean, you know, you taped it, I taped it, so hopefully it'll land pretty close. But you know, usually I do a whole lot of drawing, and then I'll flip it down. I'll flip it back and forth and just see if there's anything that I missed. And if worse comes to worse, if I forget something, like I said, grab your pencil, look at your photograph, and add it later. You know, this is one tool. It doesn't mean I don't know how to draw, or, you know, I don't freeze up just because I didn't get it with the transfer process. It's just one way to get the image onto your paper. All right, I hope you found that helpful.